BigBear.ai, it's been kind of quiet ever since they released their Q1 earnings. And even though, with that being the case, that they haven't said anything for over a month, ever since March 31st, and I haven't really seen any more news catalysts after that, they still are holding above the $4 range. And we have not gone back to the lows of $3.01 anytime recent. We have not gone back to these lows ever since, even though we've been quiet this long. And right now, from a price action perspective, the current levels of resistance would be in the range of about $4.50 to $4.80. Pretty much all the way up to here, $4.50 to $4.92 to be exact. When we look at it from a price action perspective, the question that I want to ask in relation to BigBear.ai is BBAI, is it quietly building momentum for another move higher, or is this just another temporary strength? Is this just another sign of temporary strength before another pullback, getting all the way to the lows again around the $3 range? So I want to break it down with you guys, and if you do enjoy breakdowns on stocks like BigBear.ai, please comment below what it is you want to see in future upcoming videos, and hit the like and subscribe button, as I do enjoy putting out the content that you want to see. Now, first thing that I want to point out is that strength without news is interesting, because normally speculative stocks, because as me and you both know, BigBear.ai is a speculative stock in the artificial intelligence sector, in the artificial intelligence market, also in the defense, tied to defense as well. They typically fade quickly without catalysts, and that's not the case at the moment. They're not having a massive bull run or anything, but they're not dropping to these lower prices, and it hasn't completely collapsed, and it's holding above the $4 range, and that can matter psychologically for the sentiment of the stock. And sometimes, in my opinion, the way a stock behaves when there's no news whatsoever is that it can tell you a lot about the investor sentiment. And right now, I would say, for my opinion, that this is more on the positive side. The fact that we are able to hold above and close the week above the $4 range, even with no news. If you enjoy my content, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you ever need help making better decisions with investing, simply take a look at the first link below to get access to my community and support yourself with like-minded investors and get access to the world's leading AI models: Claude, Gemini, OpenAI, and Grok. Get all of this software for $7 in my community, and my community is free. And speaking of the $4 range, I just want to point out that with all the volatility that we've been having, after the disappointment in the Q4 report for the fiscal year of 2025, and then having a better quarterly report for Q1 of fiscal year 2026, we've had lots of volatility. And right now, the fact that we've reclaimed $4 and that we are holding above the $4 range, and the fact that we definitely had better revenue in Q1 of 2026 compared to Q4 of 2025, and the fact that this stock is very hit or miss when it comes to their quarterly reports, and the fact that there's lots of uncertainty still with the stock, the fact that we are still above the $4 range, that is a positive sign for BigBear.ai, and that is showing within the sentiment of the stock that even though people are uncertain, that's why we're not skyrocketing back up to these highs of the $9 to $10 range. But the $9 to $10 price levels. But even though we're not skyrocketing, people still do have faith in BigBear.ai to not just let it collapse. And the $4.50 to $4.92 level, I'm putting those levels because of previous levels of support and resistance. Again, just simply stating that, you just got a little peak above right there. This is a level of resistance that, we, from a price action perspective, and I know this is a while ago, we broke out here, and then we crashed down here, and then we had another reattempt above this failed breakout attempt, or bullish run at the level of $4.49, and then we had another look above and fail, and then we crashed, and then we went back to these previous highs, and then we actually had that real breakout to the $10 range. To be exact, the highs was at $10.36 before crashing down over a year ago. And I know that these levels haven't necessarily been invalidated, but it has been a long time. So I'm just stating it from previous levels of support and resistance. And the $4.92 level that I'm stating is from this right here after we had that bit, because we've been downtrending with BigBear.ai, but we crashed, and then we had an attempt to, we had some buyers step in, and then we continued to fail downwards. So this right here, this level at $4.92 would be the main level of resistance that would be nice to see if we could break out above and hold above $4.92. Well, basically above $5 to be more exact. So I'm just going to label this right here. So daytime resistance. So yeah. Now, this could be another breakout zone, and it is going to be interesting to see what the volume is going to look like when, because I do believe we're going to get here. If it's going to be short term, I'm not sure. Within a few months, probably, yeah. But when we do get to these price levels, what the volume is going to look like. So I will be looking out for that when we do return to these levels. And if BigBear.ai, if they eventually break through this resistance area with strong volume, some investors believe that the momentum traders could start paying attention again. And transitioning over from a price action perspective to more about the narrative of the stock itself, how it's the narrative in relation to artificial intelligence and defense. I want to remind you guys that what they're involved in with AI infrastructure, government, and defense exposure, because again, as me and you both know, they're highly exposed in those markets. And defense, as again, just repeating what's been repeated many times, is that defense is a heavily funded sector with the United States government. And even though they are heavily funded in a market that is heavily funded, they still are on the speculative side of things, because even though they have a good backlog and they did have decent quarterlies in the last quarter, they're still very hit and miss from a quarter to quarter basis. So I just want to say that even with all the speculation in relation to BigBear.ai, the fact that there's no news is highly speculative, and they're in the defense and artificial intelligence sector, that is part of what is keeping the interest alive when it comes to BigBear.ai. So basically, when it comes to balancing it out, because what do we always say? We don't marry a stock. In fact, to be honest, I haven't really been, in my opinion, the tone of what I've been saying when it comes to BigBear.ai, it hasn't been super bullish. In fact, I've been talking a lot about how it's I would say my tone and the way I've been approaching this video is, even though BigBear.ai is speculative, it's a good thing that investors are still willing to have faith in the stock. It's a little bit of a different tone, especially when I'm talking about the financials of how SoFi has been improving quarter over quarter, or CTM, even though that I'm there at a low share price, I still am I'm very bullish on the stock. I would say that even though I've been a little more speculative and a little bit more cautious in the way I speak about BigBear.ai, let's flip it on the other side. I usually say don't marry a stock and don't get too bullish. I'm gonna say don't marry a story and get too bearish or too cautious if you do have a thesis onto why you think BigBear.ai can be a long-term winner in the long run. Because me personally, I am a holder of BigBear.ai, and again, this is not financial advice, so do your own due diligence. But all I'm trying to say is don't marry a stock. So I want to ask you guys, do you personally think that BigBear.ai eventually breaks above this resistance zone? In my opinion, eventually it's going to, but how soon that would be, that's up to BigBear.ai. I don't think it's going to be soon, like within a few weeks or like a month or two, maybe within a few months, yeah. So technically short term, but I want to know what you guys think about if they can break out and have support above that level. So please comment below what it is you think. And let me know what it is you want me to cover in future upcoming videos, because again, I love covering the content that you guys want to see. But with that being said, guys, Dave with InvestQ out. Stay safe. Keep making good decisions with your long-term portfolios. and I'll see you on the next video.